When I saw this for the first time, I was a lot like you. Confused and scared. If Piccolo can do that at power level 408, what can Frieza do? And what in the world would Boo be able to do? Like, what? So I made it my mission to figure out the power levels of the Cell and Boo saga, but also figure out just how strong that actually is. Is Cell solar system level or is he galaxy level? Could Frieza blow up the sun? Stay tuned, find out. I'll be splitting this video into two parts. The first part, the Saiyan saga and the Namek saga. Those sagas, we know the power levels of everybody. And part 2, the Cell and Boo saga. We'll speculate the power levels of every character and figure out just how strong the Z Fighters actually are. Skip to this time scamp. It'll scamp. Now let's get it on. As you can see by the mathematicians behind me, I know what I'm doing. Look at that. Look at that. That took 3 hours to render. Don't worry, I'll make this part quick. First up, math. There seems to be an increase in power whenever anybody uses a ki attack. It's especially shown in the first battle against Raditz and Goku and Vegeta's Gallic Gun Kamehameha clash. It's actually stated by Raditz just how much stronger Goku gets when he uses the Kamehameha. His power level gets 2.22 times stronger than his base power level. And I'll be assuming that Piccolo's Demon Wave is basically the exact same as Goku's Kamehameha, due to the 23rd Tenkaichi Budokai. So if Piccolo, at power level 408, destroys the moon, and the Demon Wave is 2.22 times stronger than base power level, then that means at a power level of 906, Piccolo destroyed the entire moon, which gives us this equation. Now, I'm gonna do some insane lowballing here. Usually, the power it takes to destroy a planet is like 60% of what I'm talking about. I'm gonna say that if you hit a planet, then the explosion radius has to be the entire volume of that object. Normally, it's 60% of that object. So if Piccolo's explosion filled the entire moon, then that's good. Alright, so now that we have the equation, now that we know what people can destroy, let's take you. The average power level of a human is 5 in Dragon Ball. So that means with the Kamehameha, you can destroy... You can destroy a radius of 351 kilometers. That's France. Now, this may seem stupid, because it is, but there's actually kind of a built-in explanation for this. Normal humans don't know anything about ki attacks, and the Kamehameha has been hyped up as this, like, ultra-powerful technique in the OG Dragon Ball. So it kind of makes sense. If somebody was actually trained in ki, and they used the Kamehameha, they could destroy France. That actually makes perfect sense, but it's still stupid. Now what you've all been waiting for. Just how strong is Yamcha? Yamcha has a power level of 1400, which means he can destroy the entirety of Europe. Don't sleep on Yamcha. And now, it's over 8,000! With a Kamehameha, Goku can destroy 2/3 of the planet. Oh no. At 18,000, Vegeta can destroy 80% of Earth. But you're forgetting that he's not using the Kamehameha. He's using the Gallic Gun, which is a much better technique than the Kamehameha. If we compare Goku's Kamehameha and Vegeta's Gallic Gun in their famous beam clash, you can see that the Gallic Gun has a multiplier of 2.96, which is a little over the size of the planet in terms of radius. Beautiful. And technically, we do know Vegeta's power level in his Ozaru form, but he was weak at that time, so it would be a lot weaker. So since we don't actually know Vegeta's Ozaru form, Goku's Kaioken times 4 is the pinnacle of power for the Saiyan arc. And that means the highest level of destruction in the Saiyan saga, 7,434 kilometers, aka 20% bigger than the planet. And that actually lines up perfectly with the show. And now, we have the Namek saga. Now this is where things get crazy. No, it's not. Stick to the Boo saga. It's gonna get nuts, I presume. We're still working on it. First up, let's figure out Frieza's Death Ball. I'll just give it a multiplier of 1.5 because it's not too strong, but Frieza is naturally talented, so it should probably be a power level of over 1, And using math to figure out the radius of Planet Vegeta, he clears it. First form Frieza clears that. First form Frieza uses 86% of his strength to destroy Planet Vegeta. Pretty fair. Frieza's second form, 1.1 million, can almost destroy Uranus. But we're gonna need third form Frieza to destroy your mom's anus. And since he has no canon power level, I'll just say the last form's multiplier was 2 times, and the character's called the form's exponential whenever Frieza transforms. So he'll have a power level of 2.2 million, which is basically the exact power level to destroy Uranus. And Frieza's final form, when we first see it, is 4 million, which has an initial radius of 32.6 thousand. And 20 times Goku has a power level of 60 million, and therefore he can destroy Jupiter with a radius of 91.6 thousand kilometers. That's crazy. 100% Frieza has a power level of 120 million, which can destroy a radius of 101.3 thousand kilometers. And finally, strongest character in all of the Namek Saga, Super Saiyan Goku, with a power level of 150 million, can destroy a radius of 124.4 thousand kilometers. You might be noticing that the radius is starting to die down a little bit. It's starting to get less and less insane, and that's because of the 1/3 in this equation. That 1/3 basically means square root, but more. So actually, the stronger you get, the less radius you'll make. So this actually grounds Dragon Ball in a really cool way. Physics. These characters seem to break physics, but physics is holding them back. It's beautiful. And no, they can't destroy the sun just yet. We'll have to get into the Cell Saga for the sun level. If you want to know every single power level, I've given you the equation here, so you can just plug in any power level in the series and you'll know just how strong that character is. I'll also show you all the technique multipliers, so you can figure out some power levels on your own at home. But now, we get into the Cell Saga. There is one thing that is going to carry my speculation. The 20% rule by Toriyama. I've changed it slightly, but the gist of it is that if you're at 20% higher of a power level than your opponent, you can stomp them. Now I've changed it to be 1.05, you're basically equal, but one is kind of stronger. 1.1, one is stronger, but they still have to like pay attention in battle. 1.2 times stronger, you know, it's easy difficulty. 1.25 times stronger is that you toy with your opponent. And 1.3 times stronger is just no difficulty at all. You know, your opponent punches you, just doesn't affect you. Let's get on to a very fun saga. And my personal favorite saga. Probably because I've watched DBZ too many times. Alright, first, we have Frieza's power level. Due to Frieza's willingness to come straight back to Earth, I'd say his power level is about 1.5 to 2 times stronger than before. You know, Mecha Frieza has been stated to be stronger and significantly by Krillin and the other Z fighters, so I'll say 1.75 times stronger. We'll use Frieza's Death Ball, which he chucked at Trunks, which would have a power output of 315 million. And Trunks easy diffs the Death Ball. So, you know, I'd say, using the 20% rule, his power level is 378 million. Then seeing how Goku easy diffs Trunks, I'd say that Goku's power level is 491.4 million, considering just how easy it was to deflect Trunks' sword. But now, we have post-time skip everybody. We're now in a weird position. Goku didn't actually get a lot stronger in the time skip. He wins against androids 19 and 20 without the heart virus, but he can't defeat 17 or 18 or even Vegeta. So we're gonna use more math. This is called a system of equations, where you have a bunch of different equations and you have one number, and that number basically solves everything. So, Android 18 was definitely stronger than Vegeta. Vegeta landed a combo with a key attack, and it only kind of pissed off 18. While when she landed a combo, Vegeta was on the floor in pain. And in the Vegeta versus 19 fight, Vegeta was about 1.3 times stronger than Android 19, and Vegeta is definitely stronger than Goku by about 1.05 to 1.1 times. So, 1.075 times stronger than Goku. And using Trunks' power level, which is the exact same as when he first appeared, why would he be stronger? That doesn't make any sense. We get we're starting to get a lot of clean escalation here. We're not going like crazy times stronger than the Namek Saga, but it is still a pretty clean like rise in power. Piccolo, after fusing with Kami, was 1.05 times stronger than 17. Piccolo was stronger than 17, but it was a pretty equal fight, so Piccolo's power level after fusing with Kame is 992.5 million. But now we have Imperfect Cell's first encounter with Piccolo, and it shows Piccolo about 1.125 times stronger than Imperfect Cell, so a power level of 868.2 million. Now, Imperfect Cell's second encounter with Piccolo is a significant increase, and he no-diffs Piccolo and 17 to an extent that I say he's 1.7 times stronger than 17. 1.6 billion. Now, Android 16 is weaker than Imperfect Cell, but he was giving him a lot of trouble. So I say Android 16 is 1.4 billion. Now, there's no canon multiplier for Semi-Perfect Cell, but I think it'd feel proper for the second form to be a 2 times multiplier, like Frieza. So, 3.2 billion. Now, post-Time Chamber Vegeta is heavily implied to beat Semi-Perfect Cell without Grade 2. And trust me, I watched the fights for this video, so I'd say 1.075 times stronger. 3.45 billion. Now, SSJ Grade 2 Vegeta is also heavily debated. It's said to be anywhere from 1.25 to 1.6 SSJ, so I'll say 1.4, 4.84 billion. And now, we have the power level for Perfect Cell. Might be a surprise to hear this, but Super Saiyan 1 Gohan is actually already pretty close to Perfect Cell. It's in guidebooks and fan forums everywhere. And looking back at the fight, yeah, he's pretty close. I say Cell is still stronger than him, but not by that much. Gohan was taking a beating because he just didn't want to fight. So I say Cell is 1.1 times stronger than Gohan. So 13.5 billion for Perfect Cell. Now Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. It's 2 times Super Saiyan Grade 4 and a Rage Boost. Now the Rage Boost is the most interesting bit. There's no consistent multiplier for any Rage Boosts in the series, so I'll say 1.5 times. So that would make Super Saiyan 2 Gohan 36.87 billion. This is the pinnacle of power in the Cell Saga. And now finally, Super Perfect Cell, a 2 times multiplier with a Zenkai boost. And because Cell is only like 25% Saiyan, I'll give like the Zenkai boost a way less amount. So I'll say 30 billion for Super Perfect Cell. And that actually lines up. Gohan was like messed up in that final beam clash. He was like one arm and everything. So we have the Cell Saga completely done. The Cell Saga feels like an insane escalation from Namek because people are just constantly being compared to each other. But really, it's less of a power gap between the Saiyan Saga and the Namek Saga. And now, with the Cell Saga out of the way, we have the biggest pain in my butt. The Buu Saga. First up, the 7-year time skip. How on earth am I going to solve that? We actually have one frame of reference from the Cell Saga to fit everybody's power level in the Buu Saga. We have Deborah. Now, the 7-year time skip actually has everyone a lot weaker than you'd think. Gohan struggles against a power level exactly like Super Perfect Cell's, and Vegeta and Goku may be stronger than Gohan, but they compare themselves to him constantly, so they have to be like in the same ballpark, at least. A really hard thing was finding how Vegeta stacks up against Deborah. The dialogue tells us that Vegeta would win, but how easily Vegeta will win is the hard part. After a bunch of searching and thinking, I'd say 1.125 times Deborah. So Vegeta in Super Saiyan Grade 4 would be 30.4 billion. Alright, so Buu, first time they meet, significantly stronger than base Gotenks. He was more pissed off in the fight than anything. 1.25 times is a safe bet, so base Gotenks first time, 199.5 billion. Since we don't know the power levels of Goten and Trunks before the fusion, we don't know the fusion equation. Shoot, I haven't been told what comes next. Hey, guys? Where'd they go? Oh my gosh. And so begins the story of how every number was hard to find in the Buu Saga, to me being scared of every number in the Buu Saga. Post-Time Chamber Gotenks. Goten and Trunks had 15 days to practice the fusion dance, which is already a great increase in base fusion power. Piccolo was hyping him up and everything, but nobody knows just how much stronger they got in the time chamber. I'm gonna do 1.5 times, because that seems actually a lowball estimate, and they focus on fusion synergy rather than just physical training. But with that said, 1.5 times 50 times 1.6, grade 4, times 2 times 4, 195 trillion. I'm sorry? Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks is nuts. And that subsequently means Super Buu is 187.6 trillion. And then Vegeta. I was watching this back, looking at this. I have been Mandela affected so hard because it's not Super Vegito that completely wrecks Buuhan. It's Base Vegito. Base Vegito is a solid 1.3 times Buuhan. This is so stupid! Base Vegito, 619.5 trillion. And he is yet to unveil Super Saiyan Grade 4. We have our pinnacle of power in Dragon Ball Z. 51.1 quadrillion. The thumbnail was not clickbait. With a Kamehameha, not a final Kamehameha, not a Gallic Kamehameha, just a normal Kamehameha, he could create an explosion with a radius of 90 million miles, aka 2.165 million suns. And that explosion is 60% the distance between the sun and the Earth. So, that actually answers our question. The strongest character in Dragon Ball Z, Super Vegito, is actually not galaxy level. And the reason for this is that square cube law from earlier. Turns out the more powerful you get, the harder it is to destroy a kilometer in radius. But also, there's not enough information to get the fusion equation, for the Potara at least. But going off this one fusion, it is first character times second character divided by 272. 272 is just a constant, like pi. There's no reason why pi is 3.14, but it just is. Same with 272. But anyway, we finally get a drop from quadrillions to billions. That's such a crazy drop. For Kid Buu. Now, Kid Buu was actually weaker than Super Saiyan 3 Goku, but he was immortal, and Super Saiyan 3 Goku had limited time. Super Saiyan 3 Goku and Kid Buu was a pretty even fight, and Kid Buu had magic, so he's actually weaker than Super Saiyan 3 Goku in raw power. So I'ma say, the final enemy in Dragon Ball Z, Kid Buu, has a power level of 273.6 billion. And scene. Please, for my own sanity, please subscribe for a part 2 with Daima and Super, and or I do all the Dragon Ball Z movie villains and all the Z fighters in every point in time. But for now, please, send help.